Welcome to Messages from the Universe with Laurie Wondra. Laurie is an internationally renowned psychic medium, author, and shamanic practitioner, sharing insights from angels, guides, wisdom keepers, and teachers of the universe that help you navigate life's mysteries and transformations.
Hello, I am Laurie Wondra, and thank you for listening. I was meditating recently, and in my conversation with Spirit, I used the term old soul, believing I was describing myself. But I was corrected. Yes, the universe did correct me. Correct me in that I am thinking I'm an old soul, but I'm really an elder soul. And that stopped me in the middle of my meditative conversation and put me into a totally different conversation with Spirit. Welcome, everyone, and thank you for joining me today as we dive into the question of how old is my soul? One of the questions I am asked most often is, how old is my soul? People want to know if they're a young soul, an old soul, if they're an earth angel, a starseed, or perhaps someone who has walked many lifetimes before arriving here. And while there is no scientific way to determine the age of a soul, many spiritual traditions throughout history have explored the concept of soul evolution. Certainly, I talk about soul evolution, and the universe talks to me about the evolution of our soul. They suggest that the soul grows through experience, wisdom, challenges, relationships, service, and consciousness. And like a student processing through grades in school, the soul moves through different stages of understanding. Now, we tend to measure the age of the soul based on a number of lives. Lots of lives would then mean an old soul, where a few lives might mean a younger soul. But in actuality, it's based on the experience and not necessarily a number. Therefore, we could be an old soul because we've had so many experiences, life events. Or we could be a young soul because we lived a lot of lifetimes, but we had few experiences. Now, today, I want to explore with you one of the most famous or well-known frameworks for understanding soul age. Now, I've known from a small child, and the work that I do with my angels and guides, they've talked about soul and soul age and evolution, but it's actually through this meditation that I learned of this model. So in this year, I learned of a model that I've been using since I was a child, and they are called the Michael teachings. So when this insight came to me, I said, sure, Archangel Michael, I've been talking to you since second grade. But no, this is different. This is the Michael teachings that are a spiritual philosophy that emerged in the 1970s through a series of channeled communications from an entity or a collective consciousness known simply as Michael. And according to these teachings, Michael is not a single being, but a group of approximately 1,050 souls who have completed their cycle of physical incarnations and now teach from a higher level of consciousness. Now, I've tapped into this collective wisdom before. I knew it even had a name. Over the years, I've called them ancestors, teachers, wisdom keepers, healers of the universe. If you've attended any of my classes or healing circles, you may have heard me refer to them. I'd asked once during this meditation if they were part of Archangel Michael's Legion of Angels, and I got a distinct and a very quick no. But when I asked if they were a collective I've been working with since a child, I heard a loud yes. Michael is a collective consciousness of evolved souls, and the name Michael was chosen because it was familiar and comfortable for the original channelers, not because it was intended to confuse or identify anything with Archangel Michael. The Michael teachings They're not a religion. There are no required beliefs, no worships, no formal hierarchy. Instead, they present a framework for understanding. And part of the pieces that they help us understand is soul evolution, personality and life purpose, relationships, reincarnation, karma, soul age, choice and free will, and spiritual growth. Now, many people find the teachings appealing because they blend metaphysical concepts with surprisingly practical and psychological approach to personal growth. For me, who has had direct experiences with Archangel Michael since childhood, I view the Michael teachings as a philosophical framework about soul evolution. And while my relationship with Archangel Michael is a personal spiritual connection and a guidance relationship, I welcome and honor the teachers, the healers, the wisdom keepers, those that are part of a collective consciousness that are here and always are around us to support us. So today I want to share this with you because for me it was this massive eye awakening, this discovery of where this information has been coming from or will continue to come from. The core idea of the Michael teachings suggests that every soul evolves through many lifetimes, gradually gaining wisdom and understanding through experience. The goal is not perfection. The goal is experience. And Michael often describes Earth as a school where souls come to learn through choice, through challenge, through joy and relationships, through success and failure, and love and loss. The teachings taught or teach that souls often incarnate in groups, and these groups repeatedly meet one another across many lifetimes. You've heard me talk about our earth family and the distinction of our earth family and our soul family. And we have soul agreements and relationships across lifetimes. And these relationships may serve various purposes, such as teaching us, healing, supporting us, karma completion, or mutual growth between the souls that are in these groups. This concept resembles what many people call soul contracts today. These teachings also taught that every soul has one of 7 core roles that follow them through lifetimes, and that the soul retains its role through all incarnations. Now, I'm not quite sure how I yet feel about that, but let me just run through those 7 and listen to what you might be feeling. Are you attracted or feel resonance with one of these 7? Number 1 is the server, focused on nurturing and being supportive. 2 is the artisan, creative and innovative. 3 is the warrior, action-oriented and very determined. 4 is the scholar, knowledge-seeking and learning. 5 is sage, teaching and communication. 6 is the priest or priestess, and that's about inspiration and vision. And the last one, number 7, is king, leadership and mastery. I know when I read through those, I don't resonate with just one. I resonate with many on that list. The role or the belief behind the role is that it influences how a person naturally expresses their gifts. Many people who teach publicly and communicate spiritual wisdom often resonate with sage, priest, or king energies. It's really a spiritual framework that views life as a soul school, where each lifetime offers opportunities to grow through experiences, relationships, choices, and consciousnesses. One of the thoughts that I have for this group is, why would we want to experience everything limited within one of these 7? Doesn't the soul want to be dynamic and experience all? And I really feel like in evolution, My spin on it and my belief as I'm talking here, channeling, is that we want to experience more, that the understanding of our diversity is a gift, that we're not siloed into one thing. And the question is, why can't we be many things? Why can't we start life as a server and grow into a server and a scholar and sage or priest or priestess? Why is there a limitation? I believe that we're in a lifetime of exceptional expansion, and we're looking to push the boundaries and to knock down those barricades that have been put there for us in the past. One of the great teachings of this group, though, is its contributions to the concept of soul age, which helps us explain why people may approach life in very different priorities. So these roles might be what they value or the lessons they're learning, or simply their priorities for this segment of their soul journey. It describes 5 broad stages of soul development: infant soul, baby soul, young soul, mature soul, old soul, and then elder soul. A soul that's moved into the later phases of old soul development, but still is learning, still wants more, and more importantly, is contributing back to those other souls that are on their places on the journey. It was here at this point that my meditation shifted to understand what was being presented as elder. But first, I want to walk you through what they did tell me about the earlier stages of the soul. And as we explore, please remember that this is not a hierarchy. And also, no soul stage is better than another. And also, you have freedom of choice. So if you disagree or if it doesn't resonate or it doesn't feel right, then that's okay. Be curious as to why you're feeling that. I do know that each stage has lessons, gifts, challenges, and opportunities. And the purpose of understanding soul age is not to label ourselves or not to label others. Rather, it's to help us develop compassion and understanding and appreciation for where each soul may be on its journey. So let's begin. Imagine soul evolution as attending a great university, the University of the Universe, and each lifetime is a class. And each experience is a lesson or a learning. And each relationship is a teacher. And each challenge is an opportunity to grow. Now, some souls may be taking introductory courses, while others may be pursuing advanced studies. And again, neither is superior. They are simply learning different lessons, or being curious, or having the opportunity to experience something different. So within each soul stage, there are also levels. This might be where a soul repeats lessons at that stage to gain more in-depth knowledge or to form more around enjoyment. Maybe it's just fun to come back and repeat this. It's not a punishment. There also might be a play a role for others requirement that requires them to remain at a particular stage or level. Sometimes I see that in soul families where the family members, this soul family has decided that they're all going to stay at this level until they're all there at that level. So they might repeat while they wait for everybody to get to the same place in the journey. And for all these, our soul lifetimes, the Michael teachings emphasize personal responsibility and choice, because we always have a choice, self-awareness and compassion, and evolution through experience. One of Michael's recurring themes is, you are here to experience yourself. And therefore, we have many experiences to experience yourself in different levels of that experience. I might have an experience again and again and again, but as my soul evolves, how I respond to that experience changes. It's not to become perfect. It's not to escape Earth. It's not to transcend humanity, but it's to fully experience life and to learn from it. And the magic of what having these experiences can bring to us. So the 5 broad stages of soul development: infant soul, baby soul, young soul, mature soul, and old soul. And the 6th, that's the elder soul. Let's start with the first stage. Infant soul. The infant soul is learning the most fundamental lessons of existence. These souls are discovering what it means to survive, to exist within a physical body, to navigate the material world. Life can feel unpredictable and overwhelming to an infant soul. Their primary focus is safety, survival, basic awareness. Now, these souls are not less intelligent or they're not any less valuable. They're simply focused on foundational experiences. Think of a child learning to walk, and every step requires intent, attention, and effort. Now, the next stage is called the baby soul, and the baby soul begins creating structure and order. They seek stability and rules and tradition and clear definitions of right and wrong. And these souls often find comfort in established systems and may feel secure within institutions, traditions, communities, and belief systems. The lessons here is learning responsibility and accountability and learning about social order. Now, keep in mind the lessons that are learned through early stage are relevant only to that stage. So many religious structures, cultural traditions, and systems of governance provide valuable learning environments for baby souls. And as the soul evolves, it enters the youth soul stage. And this is often where tremendous ambition emerges. Young souls are focused on achievement, success, recognition, leadership, influence, material mastery. And just like they learned responsibility and accountability and social order in their previous stage, they once again will learn responsibility, accountability, and social order in this stage. You don't learn it once, you learn it in the place where you are because it's applicable to where you are. Each stage stacking knowledge upon the last, and sometimes having to repeat learning that's appropriate or meaningful to where they are. That's often why I say we're never, ever done learning. The question the young soul tends to ask is, how do I succeed? How do I become important? How do I create influence and how do I win? Young souls are builders, they're innovators, they're entrepreneurs and executives and politicians and creators and leaders, and they help move organizations, community, and civilizations forward through their inventions, through their ambition and their determination. There's tremendous value in this stage because young souls learn how to create in the physical world. Now, many people spend multiple lifetimes developing mastery in this area. The challenge for the young soul is that external success eventually stops satisfying the deeper longing within. The soul begins asking new questions, questions that achievement alone cannot answer. Questions like, why am I here? And what truly matters? What brings meaning to my life? This transition often leads into the mature soul stage, and the mature soul begins turning inward. The focus shifts from achieving to understanding, from success to meaning, from competition to connection, from status to healing. And mature souls become deeply interested in relationships, emotions, compassions, healing, and self-awareness. They often find themselves asking, why do I feel this way? How do I heal this? What's my purpose? And what does love truly, truly mean? Many therapists, healers, artists, counselors, and spiritual seekers are exploring mature soul lessons. This stage can feel emotionally intense because the soul is becoming aware of the interconnectedness of all of life. Empathy increases, sensitivity increases, compassion expands, and at the same time, the soul begins recognizing that every person carries their own wounds, their fears, their hopes, and their dreams. And as growth continues, many souls eventually enter what is known as the old soul stage. The old soul generally moved beyond the need to prove itself. The focus changes once again. And now the question becomes, what is truth? How can I serve? How do I live authentically? And how can I contribute? Old souls often feel different from others. Many describe feeling older than their years, even as children. They may enjoy more solitude. They seek depth over status. Their experiences are deeper, and they require more of those deeper experiences versus a superficial relationship. They are often drawn towards spirituality, philosophy, healing, wisdom traditions, metaphysics, and the deeper mysteries of life. Old souls frequently become teachers, healers, writers, philosophers, guides, mystics, and wisdom keepers. And one of the gifts of the old soul is the ability to see multiple perspectives simultaneously. Rather than viewing life in black and white or one way or another, they recognize nuance and complexity. They understand you can have two opinions at one time. You can have two feelings. You can have multiple of everything, including multiple right answers. But they don't push for the right answer because they understand that truth often exists in many layers and from many different perspectives. This ability creates compassion, but it can also create challenges. Old souls sometimes feel disconnected from mainstream culture. They might get frustrated because others aren't catching up to where they are. They may wonder why others seem focused on other things and things that just no longer matter or no longer interest them. They may struggle to fit into systems that prioritize competition, status, or external validation. What they seek is authenticity. What they seek is meaning. What they seek is truth. As humans, we think very linear, and it often can be difficult to remember that the universe is not linear, it's multidimensional. So now, let's talk about the concept of the elder soul. Not every soul age system uses this term, but many contemporary spiritual teachers use it to describe the later phases of the old soul journey. This was a new term for me. Nobody likes being called elder, but here it feels appropriately. And this is what I've been noodling on. The elder soul is not necessarily older than every old soul. Rather, it represents a shift in focus. The old soul is learning wisdom. The elder is transmitting wisdom. The old soul seeks understanding, where the elder soul shares understanding. The old soul gathers experiences, and the elder soul becomes a steward of experience. The elder soul often feels called to leave a legacy, not necessarily a financial legacy, not necessarily fame, but a legacy of wisdom, a legacy of service, a legacy of contribution. I've been feeling that as I've been writing like crazy, the feeling that I have, the need that I have to get this information out into the universe through podcasts or books or newsletters as a legacy, as a contribution. And I know this has been swirling for me for the last 8 months to a year, and I've released multiple books. But when I asked the question of what was Spirit asking me to do now, I kept hearing the word legacy. When I asked then what were the roles of the elder soul often becomes mentors, teachers of teachers, wisdom keepers, guardians of knowledge. They may write books, create teachings, train practitioners or communities, build those communities, preserve ancient wisdom, or develop new frameworks that helps others evolve. And their focus becomes increasingly collective because they begin asking, how can I help humanity? How can I support future generations? How can I share what I've learned? How can I heal where people are now and move them on their path forward? How can I leave the world better than I found it? Now, these are all great questions, but the best I can explain this is, as I live as a shaman, that includes psychic medium, healer, etc. It's not something I do. It is who I am. So my days, Monday to Sunday, are these questions. How can I help humanity? How can I support future generations? How can I heal past generations? How can I learn more? How can I share what I've learned? How can I leave the world better than I found it? An analogy I often use in this is imagine soul evolution as attending a university. The young soul is learning how the world works. The mature soul is learning how people work. The old soul is learning how consciousness works. And the elder soul is teaching others what consciousness means. Again, none of these are stages that are better than the others because the world needs all of them. And honestly, our souls need all of them. We need innovators. We need builders. We need caregivers. We need artists. We need teachers. We need wisdom keepers because every stage contributes something valuable to humanity, no matter what stage or where you are. One of the most important lessons we can learn from soul age teachings is compassion. When we understand that people may be learning different lessons, it becomes easier to release judgment. It's not to define them at an age or as a role that they're playing. But it is important to understand that not everyone is supposed to think like you. Not everyone is in the same place that you are. Not everyone is supposed to value the same things. Not everyone is here to learn the same lessons at the same time, and they won't suddenly all understand what that information is at the same time. That's why we're so diverse. We learn and experience different. The soul curriculum is unique for each individual. And when we honor that truth, we become more patient, more accepting, more compassionate, more understanding. We become more of everything that is good. Perhaps the real question is not, how old is my soul? But perhaps a different question is, what is my soul trying to learn right now? What lessons are presenting themselves? What roles might I be playing in the world for others? What opportunities for growth are appearing? Or what experiences are inviting me into greater awareness? Because regardless of soul age, we're all students. We're all teachers, and we certainly are all evolving. And every soul, no matter where it is on the journey, carries a unique light that contributes to the greater whole. You are important. I see your light. Your journey is important. You are here for a reason. Thank you for joining me today. May you honor your journey, trust your path, recognize the wisdom that is there for you and already unfolding within you. And until next time, please continue turning up your light, sharing it with the world, and blessings to all of you. I'm Laurie Wondra of Your Life Core, and thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening to Messages from the Universe. For information about Laurie Wondra's current events or to schedule a private session, visit her website, yourlifecore.com. You can also subscribe to her monthly newsletter. Laurie also shares inspirational and informational messages on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Thanks again for listening.